Hi, my name is Andy, and I'm a professor and a writer, a dad, and a dog lover. If the internet is good for anything, besides streaming shows, movies, and music, it's lists. Recently, I checked out a list of top 10 movie rivalries. Of course, some of your favorites were listed. Woody versus Buzz Lightyear, Harry Potter versus Draco Malfoy, and controversially, number one, Rocky Balboa versus Apollo Creed. We love rivalries. In fact, we often think that faith and science are rivals. So Christians avoid talking about science and faith. Some even demand that we pick sides, either believing the Bible or science. But this doesn't work. In order to be thoughtful people of faith, we can't avoid or ignore this conversation. We have to think about how science relates to faith. So why do we feel like we have to pick sides? Take a moment to talk about this with your group. For the next few minutes, discuss the questions on the screen. Have you ever felt like you have to choose science over faith or faith over science? If so, what made you feel that way? Do you think that science contradicts faith? If so, how? When the timer flashes, the video will continue. Welcome back. Did you know that science and faith were not always considered rivals? The first scientists, called natural philosophers, were committed people of faith. People like Galileo, Kepler, Newton, they all considered faith as a way to understand more of God's creativity. As science and math advanced, further insights and theories about the order of the universe surfaced. We understood more and could test the laws of nature. By the 1700s, a huge shift occurred. We entered into an age of enlightenment, of reason, where human knowledge became central in our world. A growing belief by the 18 and 1900s was that the laws of nature pointed to a universe that is impersonal and void of God. So for the last 100 years, some believe that science somehow disproves God. But the problem is, that isn't what science does. Let me explain. There are two things going on here: the social practice of science and scientific findings. Here's the difference. Scientific findings are what you do in school through things like physics, astronomy, botany. Scientific findings have a method. They look to study the material world through observation and experiments. Their goal is to gain understanding for beneficial usefulness. Well, it makes no ultimate claims, only theories that can be demonstrated. Science is always open to new discoveries. Examples of this: the heliocentric solar system, stem cells, evolutionary adaptation, string theory. Now let's compare that to the social practice of science. Its methods are very different. It uses reason and focuses on what can be logically judged as plausible, but its goal is to provide a whole life philosophy. Its claims, well, it makes ultimate ones, including that we live in an impersonal universe. It promises that it provides the only mature way of seeing life, claiming faith is for babies. It recognizes no mysteries, only temporary puzzles to be solved. Examples of this position? You could think of someone like Richard Dawkins, the famous author, who's often known as the supreme ethicist of this position. Or maybe you're probably more aware of the TV personality Neil deGrasse Tyson. Do you see the difference? The social practice of science is not science at all. It uses science to come to certain conclusions about the universe and life, but really it's a life philosophy. It's like a religion. So let's take a look at faith in comparison, especially the Christian practice of faith. The Christian practice of faith seeks to experience God through prayer, mercy, story, love, healing, community, and service. Its goal is to encounter God and reflect God to others. Its claims, it makes ultimate ones, including the existence of a personal force who minds the whole of the universe. Promises that one can encounter and know a personal God. It embraces mystery as the unimaginable depths of reality itself. Examples of this? Well, look around. It's you and your church community. The tension is not really between scientific findings and faith. If there's a tension, it's between the social practice of science and faith. That's because the social practice of science often tries to discredit faith. It's threatened by the notions that reality can exist outside the material universe. So we have to be careful to not fuse scientific findings and the social practice together. That's when we feel forced to choose between faith or science. But please, realize that scientific findings don't disprove or even dispute the existence of God. In fact, scientific findings have a remarkable way of pointing us to God and showing us more of God's activity in the world. The Big Bang, evolution, particle physics, and more. They all can be an echo of God's activity in the world. Our lives and experiences are the places where faith and science interact in real ways every day. Cancer, hurricanes, space exploration, viruses, virtual reality. We make meaning and choices guided by science and faith all the time. The scientific can give us a window into the divine mystery of a God in whom we live and move and have our being. Take out a piece of paper and a pen. In quiet, think about the video you just watched. Write and draw your responses to these questions. What did you learn from this video? What connected with you? How do you think science can show us more about God? What questions do you think science can't answer? When the timer flashes, discuss your responses with the group.